there's certain old places where you walk in them and you could feel the memories in the walls. Like they have, I think buildings have memory. I think that's why people don't want to buy a house where someone was murdered in. Yeah, I think buildings have. I think things have memory. Yeah, I really do. Yeah. There's a guy named Rupert Sheldrake. I forget what his discipline is. I think he's an evolutionary biologist or something like that. I forget what he does. But anyway, he's got this theory about memory, and that we have this idea that we are the only things that have memory. But he thinks that everything has memory. That all things around you. Yeah. It's a psychology researcher. He proposed a concept of morphic resonance, a conjecture that lacks mainstream acceptance. He gets criticized as being kind of a loon, but he's got some really interesting ideas, and he's a brilliant guy. He just thinks outside the box. And one of the things that he thinks is that everything has some sort of a memory to it. He's not the only one that thinks that.
I want to understand him. Like this table is gonna
it can't tell you things.
Of course.
But this table is different because of all the people that have been in this room talking.
Correct.
And I think there's something real to that.
Yeah, so when I say I agree, I feel like I agree because words are powerful. Yeah. Like maybe the word,
experiences are powerful.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, everything's powerful. Like words facilitate experiences, right? You go on stage and you're killing it, and everybody in the audience is jamming out. That's an experience, And then they'll go back to that place. Maybe they'll go back and it'll be empty someday. Like, I saw that Mexican OT here, right here. Yeah. I was standing right here, and you feel it.
Yeah.
I think that's why when you go by your old high school, you feel like a loser again. Like, ooh. Yeah. Like you feel like it makes me feel like I felt when I was 16. There's something about that. And I know that's a psychological connection that you have, but I also think that high school's got the memories of a bunch of confused up kids that didn't know what to do with their life, and they were buck wild and yelling and screaming and school fights and all the chaos. I think it's burned into the walls. I really believe that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That sounds crazy. I've never heard it, but I actually love that.
I think that's what haunted houses are.
What?
Yeah, I think ghosts are real, but I think what a ghost is if someone gets brutally murdered in a building. Imagine if there's a house and some husband comes home and brutally murders his wife, and that nobody wants to buy that house.
Correct.
Nobody wants to buy that house. He stabbed her 100 times in the kitchen. Nobody wants that house.
Right.
You got to level that house to the ground, and still people don't want that land.
Correct.
It's just too f***ed up.
Correct.
I think when something truly horrific happens, the experience is so intense and extreme that energy creates like a void.
Yeah,
and you feel that void when you're there. And I think if you're in the right state of mind and you're in a house where someone fell down a flight of stairs and snapped their neck and was in horror, you would feel it.
Yeah,
you would feel it. Yeah, and you might feel them. Their experience might be recorded in a way where it has a little flashback.
Yeah,
and you just hear someone saying help. Like real softly, and you're like, "What the f is going on?" You turn the lights on, no one's there.
Fuck,
yeah,
fuck all that, man.
Yeah,
I do agree though. I know. I've always believed in God and things like that. Because I grew up non-denominational. My nanny always prayed, and things like that. But what made me full on believe it and like spirits and knowing that it's here was I seen bad first, and I was like, well, yin and yang, yes and no, on and off. Like if there's bad, there's got to be good. And after that, that's when I've been full on prayed up and full on been trying to get better with the message, because I want to be ready. We got to be ready for that talk, But yeah, no, it gets wicked though, definitely.
I think this other thing that makes me uncomfortable as I get older is I realize that there probably has to be evil in order for good to exist. That there's some weird, with human beings, there's some very weird balance of good and evil. And it's just like you don't appreciate sunshine unless it rains. You live in LA, you're always used to the sun. The sun's bullshit. Nobody gives a fuck about that sun.
Right.
But man, you live in Portland. The day it's sunny out, you're like, oh, you're out in the park with a coffee. Oh, this is beautiful. Feel that sun. It feels so good. I think we need a balance. And unfortunately, one of the things that creates more good is evil. Because someone has to combat that good or combat that evil. And the way you combat that evil is become a better person, become great, become something special.
I like it.
I think that's real. And it's like so much evidence of it. If you look at human beings, there's never been a time where there haven't been evil people.
Yeah,
ever.
correct. No, correct.
There's not like one society where everybody figured it out and everybody was cool.
Yeah, correct.
And if they are, it lasts like a couple of years and then it falls apart.